Well, hi guys and gals, it's me George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man, and I'm out here in the shop, and it's kind of a dreary and nasty day here. It's in the middle 30s. But what I am doing, in between doing other things, I'm waiting for the guy to come and pick up those 3 motors that we reviewed the other day. I am draining the oil off of this motor. This is the one we're going to be using on the Goofy cart, and I need to be doing some cleanup work on it. And you can see I have the head, and I will insert some pictures of the head. It's all finished and painted now, sandblasted and cleaned up and all that. So I'm draining the oil out of this because my next step, before I do anything else, even before I begin the cleaning process, let me get this cord up out of the way here. The next step is I'm going to pull this pulley off, then I'm going to pull this cover off so that I can get in here and completely remove the governor. This is an 8 horsepower motor. This one here supposedly was my 10 horsepower motor, and I have another motor out in the shed that supposedly was an 8.5, but I got to tell you, they're all identical. The only difference is in the crankshaft and the application of the motor. They're all 318 cubic centimeters, and they have exactly the same family number. So this one here, as I had said before, is set up with a straight shaft on it with no step up on it. This one here has the step up on it in here. And I am planning on and hoping that I can get a torque converter set up on here. And so this one will make it a whole lot easier to use a torque converter. Now, there are a couple of reasons for taking out the governor. One is it allows my engine to rev more, and these are historically set low in their rev lane. There I go again. Rev range. That's revolutions per minute. And that limits their horsepower output. Their maximum rev limit should be up around 3,800 RPMs, and maybe we can go to 4,000 without blowing this thing all apart. And that will increase our ultimate horsepower, because many of these engines get their horsepower rating is higher up in the RPM range. That plus the Mikuni, which is larger throat, and the custom intake and custom exhaust will all help to increase the horsepower rating on this motor. I have no idea what it will be, but it will certainly increase its performance. So with that in mind, and with our process going on, we're going to remove the governor, and while I have it apart, it'll give me the opportunity to finish cleaning up the rest of this motor. And yeah, we'll make it look really nice. I have to come up with a custom oil filler tube here. This one sticks up too high, number one. Number two, it comes up and it's in the way. So I need to figure out a way to make it so it's only down in here somewhere and still have it relatively accurate, you know what I mean? So that's another project I'll be working on while I have this apart. And I'm not exactly sure what color I'm going to paint the engine yet. On the Gadget bike, we painted it cream white because that was the original color of the Arian snowblower that it came off of, and I liked the color combination on it, cream white. with the red accents, and of course we had a hammered aluminum finish on the frame. So I'm torn as to what exactly the color of the body of the motor will be. Suppose I could just clean it up and paint the whole thing aluminum colored, but nah, that's not very imaginative. So yeah, it looked good on the Gadget bike. I'll insert a picture here of the motor from the Gadget bike. The body of the motor down here was cream colored. Then this part here was textured black paint, very similar to what you see on some motorcycles. And then the head was aluminum, but it also had the full shroud on it like this, which was white. And I'm still trying to think of a way that I can modify the shroud. I would love to have the shroud just cover the magneto, the coil. It'd be wonderful if I could make it just come up across here like this. I suppose I could do it. I think I have an extra cover actually. As you see, your coil mounts way up here though. That's the problem. It mounts way up high. So that almost eliminates that possibility. So I guess we're going to have to keep our full-size shroud. Maybe what I could do is I could cut the shroud down around this height here. Just come just above where the other thing will be. We'll see. We'll see. Of course, if I could get really fancy and just make a cover for the flywheel, that's the other thing I have to do. This is the flywheel that we had cleaned up and tried to put the ring gear on that didn't fit. So I'm going to be taking the flywheel off of that motor and putting it onto this motor. Same flywheel, but that one has gears on it. And obviously the starter will be coming from there and being mounted on this motor too. So we got a lot of things to think about and a lot of things to do. Wouldn't it be cool? Maybe what I should do is this has this option here. Maybe I could put my filler tube down in here. I could drill that out while I have it apart. Yeah. But then that might interfere with my throttle linkage and choke linkage and all that good stuff. We'll see. I think I'll drill it out anyway, and when we put it back together and set it on the frame, we'll make a final decision then. You can see here, this is the motor that was on the Goofy Cart. We have this bracket mounted down here, and that's where our throttle cable goes right in there. So that comes, yeah, it comes right up in here. Well, we'll see. This one here, I just have this plug in here. It doesn't actually have a dipstick on it. I don't know if I can, here we go. It's in there pretty tight. Yeah, this is just a plug. So I may end up using that plug and putting a dipstick on it to go down in the hole over here where the dipstick tube is normally, because they thread in there anyway. Yepper. So those are some of the things I'm thinking about. Now, when this finishes draining, it looks like it's getting pretty close. Then I will pull that tube right out of it, and we'll set this up on a clear spot on the bench, and we'll get into this thing. and I'll bring you along with me when I get there. So until next time, this is George saying thanks for watching, for commenting, and subscribing. Bye for now.